Welcome to the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast, powered by Jetro. Each week, we bring extremely valuable accounting and tax tips specific to small business owners. You will be on your way to growing your business and putting more money in your pockets. Here's your host.
Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is, what are baseline tax strategies versus advanced tax strategies? Now, before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by Jetro in the Tax Minimization Program, which is a training program to ensure that you pay the least amount in taxes as legally possible. You can find that at taxsavingspodcast.com/tax. I am your host and founder of Jetro, Mike Jesowshek. Again, today's topic is, what are baseline tax strategies versus advanced tax strategies? So if you're a regular listener here, you know that we put a very heavy focus on tax savings or tax strategies that you can implement just to make sure that you're paying the least amount in taxes as legally possible. And you'll oftentimes see me talking about baseline tax strategies and then advanced tax strategies. And recently, someone in our free Facebook group, which if you haven't joined that yet, check it out. Just go into Facebook, search Small Business Tax Secrets. But someone in our free Facebook group asked how a baseline tax strategy is different from an advanced tax strategy. So that's what I wanted to talk about on this episode. So let's start out first. What are baseline tax strategies? These are strategies that every business owner should take advantage of and is able to. They're easy to understand. They're easy to implement. There's generally no cost, or it's very inexpensive to implement. And they're available to business owners of all sizes. Whether you're making $50,000 a year or $1 million a year, baseline tax strategies are available to you. Some examples of kind of what is a baseline tax strategy would be maximizing deductions. We talk about making sure that you are turning after-tax dollars into pre-tax dollars. So finding expenses that you can get into the business that you'd be spending on anyway. So this is meals, travel, supplies, utilities, rent, equipment, advertising, postage, all those sort of things. We want to make sure that we're maximizing deductions. Other examples of baseline tax strategies are hiring your kids, home office, 14-day home rental, retirement options, entity structure like an S corporation, depreciation and business vehicles, health insurance and other health-related costs, how we can get those in the business, utilizing an accountable plan, having a capitalization policy, and so much more. So baseline tax strategies are, they're nothing to just push under the rug. These are tax strategies that can save you enormous amount in taxes. We call them baseline because they're easy to understand, they're easy to implement, and no matter where you are in your business size, no matter how much money you're making or, just getting started, they're strategies that you can implement very easily, very risk-free. So essentially, baseline tax strategies are the ones that businesses, no matter your size, should be learning, researching, and implementing to just ensure that you're paying the least amount in taxes as legally possible. So let's talk about what are advanced tax strategies then. Once you hit a certain point in household income, that is when these come into play. Advanced tax strategies are a little bit more complex or difficult to understand. They're harder to implement. There's generally some costs associated with them, and they provide massive tax savings. Advanced tax strategies also sometimes carry with them some risk, because when we're eliminating a large portion of tax, it can bring some highlight onto our tax return. So while we would never advise someone to do something illegal or red light type activity where it's just blatantly not allowed, we do some advanced tax plan that does bring some risk with it. With that being said, it's all 100% legal. It just has to be done correctly. And so when we look at advanced tax planning, there's two things that we need to make sure that we're doing correctly. One, do we believe that the strategy is legal? Do we believe that based on the tax law that we read and what we've researched, the strategy is legal? Second, is the vendor that we're going to use for this tax strategy, do we believe that they're doing it correctly to help support us in the event of an audit? Those two key things must be done. If any one of them does not fit, it does not make you feel comfortable, that advanced tax strategy, you might want to check out something else. So again, When we look at advanced tax planning, they're all going to be legal activities. It's just sometimes because we're providing such massive tax savings, sometimes they bring a little bit more risk to them. And we have to think about two things. One, do we believe in the strategy? Do we believe it's legal? If we meet that one. Second, do we believe in the vendor? Do we believe in the law firm or the person that we're utilizing to implement this strategy? Because advanced tax strategies have to be done correctly. You have to dot your I's and cross your T's perfectly on them so that in the event of an audit, it's easy to back up, defend, and say, hey, we're doing things correctly. So advanced tax planning's the general kind of qualification threshold, and this is just general, is when you have household income of $250,000 or more. Now, this is household income. So this is regardless if it's just business income or not. This is available to higher income earners. So if you're a W-2 employee making $500,000 a year, advanced tax planning might be available to you. So it works for not only business owners, but also just general high income W-2 earners, things like that. So again, the general qualification on when advanced tax strategies come into play is around $250,000 or more on a yearly basis. Once you hit about $1 million continuously, or you plan to hit $1 million continuously, the door opens up even further. So again, these advanced tax strategies, they're going to be reserved for higher income earners, and just the reason is because they're oftentimes the learning curve, the costs associated to implement them would outweigh the tax savings they provide until you hit that income threshold. So that's it. So now you know how to understand baseline tax strategies versus advanced tax strategies, and we can help with all of these. Much of what we talk about on our podcast is what we call baseline tax strategies. And the reason for it is we want to make things simple, easy to understand. Advanced tax strategies, sometimes we have clients put in hours, multiple 50, 60 hours worth of research and analysis of a strategy before they're putting it into play. Now, that's not always the case, but there's definitely a little bit more involved with it. So again, baseline tax strategies are strategies every business owner can implement and take advantage of. They're easy to understand, easy to implement, generally no cost, are pretty inexpensive to implement. And whether you're making $50,000 a year or $1 million a year, baseline tax strategies are available to you. We always say, let's utilize baseline tax strategies before we ever even look at advanced tax planning. We use baseline first because it's it's easy to understand. Those are the ones we want to get out of the way. And then if we have a tax bill over and above that, that's when we're going to look into more advanced tax planning. When we look at advanced tax planning, it's a little bit more complex and difficult to understand. They're harder to implement. There's generally costs involved with them, depending on legal structures, things like that we're putting underneath them. They become a little bit more riskier, not because they're illegal, but because they're more scrutinized than, say, a baseline tax strategy. And generally, advanced tax strategies come into play when you have household income of $250,000 or more. Wherever you are at in that spectrum, we can help you out. Definitely check out our tax minimization program that we talked about at the beginning. Basically, it's a program where we have a library of tax strategies and implementation guides on how you can implement these strategies. Generally, those are going to be all baseline tax strategies. We also touch about advanced tax strategies, but when you're ready for that advanced tax strategy, as part of our tax minimization group, set up a call with me. We can talk about the planning available to you. But also included in our tax minimization program, over and above that library and implementation guide, is unlimited access to our team to ask general tax questions, a private Facebook group, monthly group training, bookkeeping help, and so much more. So definitely check out our tax minimization program, taxsavingspodcast.com/tax. As mentioned, we're going to cover everything on the baseline tax strategies there. When you get to advanced tax planning, set up a call with me. We can kind of go through your situation and find out what tax strategy is going to be best for you. That's all I have for today. Again, don't forget to check out our Facebook group. Just go into Facebook, search Small Business Tax Secrets, ask questions in there. That's what we're using to feed this. We want to base our episodes off of questions and things that you guys need help on. So feel free to ask questions in there and collaborate with other like-minded business owners. So again, that's all I have for today. I want to thank you for listening to another episode, and I will see you guys next week.
This has been another episode of the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast from the team at Jetro. If you enjoy our weekly episodes, please leave a review on whatever platform you listen to us on and share with other business owners. If you have any questions or future topics you want to hear, email them to tax@jetrotax.com. Thanks for listening and have a great day.